Martin Guitars is trying to further its street cred by increasing the lineup of Streetmaster guitars now in the junior size. We're going to tell you all about them, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas, and you can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you want to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for custom swag and check out our podcast, The Fretboard Confessional. So, they are furthering the Streetmaster line of guitars. If you're not familiar, these are made in Mexico, really great guitars from Martin that basically allows you to have a busking guitar even if you've never busked a day in your life. I think that's the idea. What do you think?
Yeah, you gotta busk it up with one of these. You know what I'm saying?
So we'll go over the specs, but the idea in the Streetmaster lineup is basically a very streamlined, simply appointed guitar that also shows some wear.
Yeah.
And we've actually been pretty big fans of like the 16 series.
16's awesome.
Yeah, they feel really good.
15 obviously has been the one that's been around, and this guy has been around. This is the Dreadnought Junior 10E Streetmaster, new at NAMM this year. We got the 000C-Jr. And Chris, I think you said it best earlier with the...
Oh, yes. And let me just say, if you had told me 5 years ago that manufacturers would be jockeying for position and winning the all-coveted lineup of travel-sized bass guitars, I would not have believed you. But it just so happens that they are.
Yeah, and this is obviously, by the look of it, you can tell it's not a Streetmaster, but this was new at NAMM this year as well.
Yeah.
So,
but if you busk on the corner with that, for a few years, it will be a Streetmaster.
Yeah.
So will you.
And just as a quick aside, they also introduced the Street Legends this year. So they're really investing in the look of the streets.
Taking it to the streets.
Yeah, and we got in the D28 Streetmaster. It sold before we could even make the video, so the next time around, you'll see that. But if you're saying, hey, they did Street Legends too, yes, they did, but we'll show them to you later. But they have been doing little things and Streetmaster things.
Little things.
Yeah. So we got all of them to show you today, even though this is not a Streetmaster.
Yeah. But pretty cool. So, I mean, they're basically, the blueprint hasn't really changed much. So we've had the Dreadnought Junior for a while, and the 000 Junior. These are both good values. They clearly exist to try to compete in that space that Taylor effectively carved out with the GS Mini. And it's kind of mind-boggling to think about the success of the GS Mini. I've heard numbers that they sell more GS Minis than some guitar manufacturers sell guitars entirely. Yeah. So it clearly found a need, and Martin has done some cool things with these in order to get into that market, but also do things a little bit different with their construction, also with their dimensions. Like, these are 1 3/4 inch nut widths, which I've always been a bigger fan of than the 1 11/16 that you'll find on something like the GS Mini. And then, of course, in that same vein, Taylor did it first. Guild followed very closely. And now here's Martin taking that same formula of a small travel-sized guitar and saying, you know what everyone wants here? A bass guitar. We're going to take 2 strings away and thicken them up, and now you can play 1 note at a time. Isn't that right, Josh? 1 note at a time. So...
Yeah, I think the bass thing is cool, and I will say that we probably sell more travel-size acoustic basses than full-size acoustic basses.
True. And
there are some, Martin makes the BC16, very cool, full, massive acoustic bass. But I think if you're, I've seen a lot of the GS Mini basses sold to bands that are kind of going on an acoustic tour, and they have a little something. It's just easier to play, easier to transport. It gets the same job done. You don't have a 9-foot scale length, but this is pretty cool. And I think that they are definitely trying to get some of those GS Mini bass customers.
So. Speaking of Taylor, I'd love to see the numbers. We should ask JR and see if he can tell us. But here's my hunch. Back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s, they collaborated with Steve Klein, and they had some acoustic basses, which were these very large, giant wedge-shaped body basses that were pretty cool. I've played an AB1 and an AB2, I think, from that lineup. And I would venture to say they've probably sold more GS Mini basses than they ever sold all sales combined of those other models.
Yeah,
That's my hunch.
I would probably say the same. But yeah, these are cool. I like the 000C-Jr a lot added to the lineup, and I think that people who are into the 00015 Streetmaster, the 00016, that's kind of your go-to for a little travel guitar because it looks the same. So.
Well, let's talk about construction on these. So these are all solid. Is the bass all solid as well?
I think it is. I think, yeah, it's the 10 series, like the Spruce Sapele. Yeah.
That's, I've often said that's kind of one of the best values. The Road series has kind of gotten away from that, but I always thought, the made in Mexico Martin product that's all solid wood, which is where these guys live, is a huge value because you're getting all solid construction. The whole guitar is going to age over time. You're getting a gig bag. You're getting a pickup system in this. I like the nut width, and the scale length is really nice. Because it's not full size, but it's not like exactly 3/4 inch scale length.
Yeah.
It's kind of that Goldilocks in between. And so you can get a lot of resonance. There's enough tension that's going on there, and they feel really great. And I think what's made this one very popular is it's a smaller, body, smaller feel than the Dreadnought version, and you're adding a cutaway.
Yeah.
But you like the Dreadnought a lot too, don't you?
I do like the Dreadnoughts. When it comes to the non-Streetmaster versions and just the juniors, I've always kind of gravitated towards the Dreadnought Junior. And it's something about kind of the first strum I hit on one of these. It's so much louder than you kind of anticipate. These, interestingly enough, came with Martin Retros on them. And I did a lot of finger picking in both of these demos. And it's a nice, warm, definitely solid wood kind of like tone. Yes, you can strum into them and get heavy and it puts out a lot of volume. But with the retros and the, I think it adds with the Streetmaster look a little bit too. It's a nice warm tone that it sounds a little deeper than what you'd expect out of these.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention with the retros, I think they're a nice pairing to the woods that are here because you've got, are they marketing this as mahogany or Sapele?
I think Sapele.
Sapele, and the top I think is Sapele, but it gives you that mahogany tone, and that dry kind of mid-range tone I have always felt is very well suited to the retro tone, because the retros don't tend to have a lot of, they're very fundamental heavy. There's not a lot of overtones or brightness that goes with them, and that lends itself to pairing nicely with like a mahogany type sound, which these definitely have. The other benefit of doing a hardwood top on a small guitar like these is that hardwood top has this compressing nature to it, and while that will make the highs lower, it also makes the lows higher. It brings your volume floor up, and so you're going to have that warmth, but also kind of a bit more punch than you might expect out of a small guitar.
You saw me looking around over there. I wanted to check the strings on this. So Martin does make the acoustic bass strings, and obviously you're probably wondering, how am I going to get a hold of strings? We can get them for you, or Martin makes them. You don't have to worry about that. That was one of the big things with the GS Mini, is they partnered with Diodario, correct?
Yes.
And everything else was Elixir. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's for a different video. But yeah, so these are phosphor bronze Martin-made bass strings.
And that works well because you're doing a spruce top.
Yeah.
It's a bass, so it's a lower register.
Yeah.
You need that brightness, and the phosphor bronze is going to help. So,
totally.
really great decisions, really great pairing. Let's take a listen to see what they sound like. So there you have it, new Streetmaster Junior guitars from Martin, and this, soon to be very popular in a coffee shop near you, the Martin Junior bass.
I want to see if y'all noticed something. Did you notice that I'm not a bass player? Because I sure did.
You did? You know,
Yeah.
but you know what's fun about these is, and someone who plays bass might argue with me, but I think that part of the appeal with these is that it is a bit more approachable
Yeah.
for the non-bass player.
Yeah.
Bass player. You know, if you are typically the acoustic guitar guy and you are wanting to add something to your repertoire, you want to have a bass that's a little bit easier for you to play. The scale length of this and just the portability and the lightness of it and being able to just play without an amp makes it really nice. And then for those who play bass, like you said, you know, you can have an acoustic set, and this is going to give you a lot of great volume. So here's the thing that makes these really good. These manufacturers have figured out a way to make a small package bass that actually, in most of my experience, has as much or more volume than the larger acoustic basses that are out there. That's always been the problem with an acoustic bass is you have this giant thing that then kind of sounds like it's filled with socks. You know, it just doesn't have that projection that you have from an acoustic guitar. And despite the fact that it's a smaller body and a shorter scale length, these sound really great and project better than most full-size acoustic basses that I've played.
Yeah.
So
I think all three of these are good for like home recording and for different reasons. So obviously if you're an acoustic person that is recording just demos at home or something, you want to add bass in, that's a perfect option. It's easy to play. You can do simple stuff on it, plug it in or mic it up, and it'll be great. These, I mean, I got the 000 right here, but Dreadnought as well. Just like what Chris was talking about, the nice kind of hardwood top retro mix and that tone would be really nice for a close mic, you know, fingerpicked stuff. I think that these would translate really well to recordings, and also for playing easy shows, just like a GS Mini. You know, they all come in gig bags. You bring a gig bag and a couple cables, plug into the house system, you're good to go.
yeah, very cool. So if you want information about the new bass or the Streetmaster Juniors, you want to go to our website, which is
alamomusic.com.
You can check out the specs there. You can shop everything that Martin offers that we carry. And you can ask questions, either give us a call, but you can also chat live with one of our associates on the website in order to get all the information you need to make the right choice for your guitar or bass as it may be. If you're new to our channel, make sure that you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, keep coming back for more, and we'll see you next time.